Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a video on Apex once again. Today I'm going to be doing a news video on what could be the future of Apex Legends pistols. So for a little bit of a background context here, there was a bit of a developer ask me anything type of thing that basically happened recently, and people asked questions and the developers gave answers, and people were asking about, obviously, are we going to get like new weapons and stuff like that? And the basic response was that rather than getting new weapons, they kind of want to go towards reworking previous weapons. So, that's a little background context right there. So the developer basically responded to a question and said, on the topic of akimbo, for sure we want to add more akimbo weapons, generally like the 𝗲𝗂𝗯𝗀𝗃 and P20s. We want to reserve such a powerful tool like akimbo for weapons we think are not quite hitting their mark in the meta, or weapons we feel could have super exciting possibilities in akimbo. RE-45 is a great suggestion, but there may be bigger plans for our little auto pistol. Now, for 100%, whenever a developer says there may be bigger plans for something, that means there are currently bigger plans for that thing. It might not happen though in the future. That's the only thing that they're basically saying here. So obviously that raises some eyebrows. Now, if you ask me, I don't really feel like the RE-45 is that good. I think some people do compare it to the R99, and some people before used to say that the RE-45 is like better than the R99, but I don't think people are actually serious when they say that, because the RE-45 is definitely not. But I think that's kind of part of the issue that the developers might want to address here, is that the RE-45 and the R99 are just way too similar. They have the exact same range, they have a very similar damage output, the DPS, everything. So maybe they might be changing the RE-45 so that it's a little bit different of a weapon. Obviously, as of right now, we have technically four pistols, sorry. We have the P2020, we have the RE-45, and we have the Wingman, which are the typical pistols in the actual pistol class. Then we also have the Mozambique pistol shotgun, which is like a pistol slash shotgun, but it's technically a shotgun because it uses shotgun ammo. This means that there are two weapons that use light ammo, the P20 and RE-45, and there is a weapon that uses shotgun, obviously in the shotgun class, and then the Wingman uses sniper. That leaves two pretty big classes of weapon kind of absent right now, and that's the energy and the heavy class. If you want to use a close range weapon for these classes, you have for the heavy class the Prowler and the car. You don't really have any pistol to do that. So there's currently no real alternative to SMGs for that close range for them two ammo types, which is obviously one of the reasons why pistols have never really been that good in the game, because they've never even had options to choose from. And of course, that's why we got the P20 and Mozambique akimbo versions, because the weapons obviously were just pretty bad. You had to basically get the hammer points before these would even be good, and obviously now we have akimbo. We obviously can use two of these at the same time, and it's currently the Mozambique is what I use all the time this season, because obviously the accelerator hop up, and I love them. But getting back on track right now, obviously we're talking about the RE-45. So what could the RE-45 have done to it? Obviously we are talking about an automatic pistol. The P20, dual wield akimbo, technically acts as an automatic pistol because it does turn into automatic mode, so it kind of makes the RE-45 a bit redundant here. So how about it just turns it into an energy pistol? That could be the first thing, just switch the ammo type. That's a very easy change. But that wouldn't really change much about the RE-45, so whether this is going to be like a change to like energy or heavy ammo, and there's some buffs to its actual stats as well for the RE-45, potentially, it could be made into an akimbo weapon as well. But going back to that point about the different ammo types though, energy normally kind of correlates with something that is like you have to charge it. A lot of the energy weapons you have to charge in some way, which is why it kind of leads me to the point of the Fnatic pistol, which if you guys haven't heard of that, it had the model of the RE-45 in the leaks when it was released. in season 12, the beta leaks kind of released by one of the leakers in the community. Now, the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 was shown to have dual wield support, but also single fire as well. And when you shot it, it would basically it would be basically like a P20, really. It would be basically like a P20, but if you held the button, it would charge it up, and you would release a high damage, like explosive kind of shot, which I think is really unique and different to a lot of the other weapons that we have currently in the game. Now, I know we have had a lot of weapons that obviously you need to charge up in some way and it'll do more damage or whatever. But this one is a lot different though, because this one purely acts at close range. We haven't really had many weapons that have a charge up mechanic that you can use at close range, mainly just the Devotion and Havoc. But they're full auto weapons. This one requires a little bit more skill. You charge up the shots, but maybe you might want to, spam it a little bit ever so often. So maybe like charge up a shot, hit the person, then spam the weapon afterwards to fully kill them. So it basically has two alternate fire modes, all in the same fire mode, if you know what I mean. You just have to hold the button. So we could see the RE-45 get reworked to be like the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 pistol, if they are not going to be releasing the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 pistol itself. I definitely think the RE-45 could benefit from the rework to make it like the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 pistol, but it doesn't make sense why they couldn't just add the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 pistol. The 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏 does sound pretty cool as a name. Now, there's another thing that I have been thinking about as well. Obviously, we are missing out the heavy class. The heavy class is like the heavy-hitting weapons, weapons that do a lot more damage than, say, light class weapons, but obviously a little bit more slower. So that's why originally the wingman was a heavy weapon, because it's a little bit slower of a pistol, and then they changed it to a sniper weapon because obviously it was a bit too powerful, so they changed it. But now, why not add a heavy pistol? Why not add like a Desert Eagle or something like that? Where you have like one shot in the chamber, and then that shot does like 80 damage or 90 damage to someone. It'd be a very powerful close range tool that isn't a shotgun, So that's what I would also suggest for a pistol as well, is that very heavy hitting kind of pistol, where you're like, if you hit someone in the head with a bloody pistol at close range, it's like 140 damage, and you can practically almost kill them. That's what I would really like as a pistol for the heavy class as well. Whether that'll be the RE-45 though is a completely different question. It just definitely does not look like a Desert Eagle, the RE-45, but I could definitely see it being reworked and changed to look like an energy pistol. But the main kind of crux of all this is that we kind of need every single class in the game to have a pistol, because it is that kind of alternative to the shotguns and the SMGs, which obviously right now, currently, we have an SMG in every single ammo type. Multiple, in fact, in every ammo type, nearly. So it just makes sense to have a pistol in each one, so that there's at least an option in case you don't really want to use an SMG, that you can instead use a pistol for that close range. But yeah, I would like to hear what you guys think about this, because of course, if they are going to try and change the RE-45, this is going to be changing the game for everyone. You get weapons in every single game. That's why weapon additions are so game-changing, because it affects everyone, no matter what character you play. So what would you do? What would you do to make the RE-45 a lot more kind of accessible, a lot more unique? Because I think that's definitely what the developers are going for right now, is uniqueness, and making so every single weapon has a place in the meta. Because, I mean, it makes the game more fun. That's why the P20 Mozambique changes were so kind of amazing, because it kept them the way that they were before, but added that additional little feature. So, yeah, please do let me know what you guys think about this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.